Hi there, it's Tina at Tina Stitches. Welcome to my channel. It's been a few weeks since my last video, longer than I anticipated, but you know, life sometimes gets in the way. And it definitely did. We've had quite an interesting month. So I will get into that later on in the video after I've shown you all of my projects, because I don't think everybody wants to hear all that stuff. I know you're here for the stitching, so that's what we will focus on. Today is Monday, February 20th. I'm not at work. It's a holiday. It's technically it's provincial based. So in Ontario, it's Family Day. So our pharmacy is closed, and so I get to have the day off. So what have I been working on in the last month? It's been over a month since I last recorded. Not a whole lot. I mean, I did get a lot of progress done on the things I did stitch on, but the things I planned to stitch on, I don't think I even picked up. Well, no, I did start what I planned to start. And, yeah. That's why I don't really make plans. So, yeah, because I had intended to stitch on certain things for the monthly magazine challenge group challenges, but things prevented me from accessing those projects, and so they didn't get done. I still have 8 days. I don't know, what was I gonna work on? 3 different projects, I believe. 4. 1, 2. Well, I did finish that one, so oh well. I might pull one out just because. So anyways, yeah. I guess I'll just start with what is directly in front of me and just work my way through them. Sorry if I shook the table there. Just moving the chair closer to put my projects on for, you know, pile transfer. So the first one I'm going to show you, I worked on for a couple days. I don't have very good records right now because stuff. This I worked on the second Sunday in February, and this is Simplicity Vintage by Dimensions, or Vintage Simplicity. No, Simplicity Vintage. This is in my project bag that was gifted to me by Kim from Stitch and Stuff. And here's where it was when you last saw it. It's still in the Q-snap because that's, I like to just pick it up and stitch, and it fits in the project bag in this. And here's where we're at. So just filling in more of the blue. That's going to be her shoe. That's a leg, and that's some of the background. Getting the biggest part of it out of the way. You know what? I screwed up. I thought that was weird. that does not belong there. Because it is her shoe. It should be red. I'm going to have to look at the chart and see how similar those symbols are, but I think I was just on a roll and just, it was a similar symbol and I went with it. But anyways, that will have to be fixed. I will have to remember that. It's not stitched on the kit fabric, which was a 14 count Ada. I exchanged it for a piece of 28 count Monaco that I had in my stash. This next one is, it's gorgeous. I really do want to get this one finished. And I want to try to be clearer in what the title is. This is Beautitudes, The Beautitudes by My Big Toe. This is chart number MBT-23. Where is it? There it is. The Beautitudes. And it is all of the quotes from the Bible where it refers to blessing people. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. That's what it is. Betty had commented that she couldn't understand the title, so Beautitudes. And here's where it was when you last saw it. And here's where it's at now. This is stitched on 22 count Hardanger fabric with Threadworks and Gentle Arts. It is Threadworks number 1024 and Gentle Arts Cranberry. And I'm running low on the cranberry, so that's why there are spaces over here and here. Because I want to, when I get my new cranberry, which I'm going to have to order, I want to make sure there's not a dye lot issue and blend it with what I have left if I have to. So here's where we're at. So this here is the B, and this is the L, and this is one of the S's. I am just working based off of counting off of the line below, and I'm bringing my border up as I go. The border is a beast, and once I'm stitching on it and getting in the rhythm of it, it's a beautiful border and it does go quickly, but I feel like if I left that till the very end, this would not get finished. The other problem is frogging on this fabric. It does leave a little bit of a stain, and because this is over dyed, I won't be able to wash it. So we'll have to see. I'm just going to take some lint roller paper and dab at that, get that fluff off. So that's Beautitudes. It was one of my oldest projects. It was started back in 2020. Not as old as a couple of the others I have. But you know. Okay. So the next one I'm going to show you is one I did say I was going to work on, and I'm going to try to get some goals met. I did take pictures of this one at the end of each day as I was stitching it, so I will try to insert a collage here. This is Royal Tudor Mandala. This is a very bad, wrinkled up copy printout. And here's where it was when you last saw it. And you would have seen the photos. And here we are now. So this is the part that I focused on, and it is mainly finished. And that would count as one of the sections that if I divided the chart into 12 sections, one a month would get me finished the stitching at the end of the year. And so this is one of the sections. All of the stitching is complete except for the back stitching in the crown. I'm just, this area here is like in between the two crowns. So it's, whether you include it with this side or that side. But I mean, it's partway stitched, so yay. So yeah. So there's one of the 12 sections completed. Now this is just the 12 sections that I have remaining. I've broken my chart down to try to get it progress. Where I go from here on that, I am not sure. We'll see. Basically 2023 is the year of Sweewee for me. Stitch what I want when I want. Last year I did Whip Go and it worked out really good. I think I only missed the 1 month, the very last month. And I had a big goal. I did 22 hours per project. So yeah. I'm missing a project. Hold please. Okay. So I realized that I did not bring all my full coverage pieces over here. I say all, but it's only the 2 out of the 3 that I've worked on. So this one is a stitching shelf by Amy Stewart. I'm going to just insert a picture here of what it's supposed to look like and of what it was looking like when you last saw it. And here it is now. And I worked on filling this in. And I do have my tablet here so I can look up some numbers for all of you that like numbers. I know that I've stitched on it at least twice since my last video, and each rotation that I put into it I do 1,000 stitches before I switch it out. And so I'm currently at 17,004 stitches, which is 4.53%. and I'm not parking as much, even though this does look like a lot. I'm basically going as far as I can with that strand, and if there's nothing nearby that I can reach with it, then I will park it. Yeah, working in this area here, going as far as I can to the bottom. If it comes over this way, I'm stitching over here too, but there's a pretty defined border between this and the next section, because I believe it's a book right next to it. Let's have a look here. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, there's a pink book on that side. Of course. So yeah, it's getting there. So the next project that I have to show you is the other full coverage project, which is on a stand, so I need to have space for it. This is Inner Depths, which will look like this when it's finished. And this is what it looked like when you last saw it. And here's where we are now. And I've continued to work across, filling in as much as I can, trying not to park. But this is, there's a lot of confetti up here, and I don't want to reach very far, so I have parked a few things. But this is where it's at now, and it is at 20,029 stitches, which is 5.7% for you number fanatics. That's where we're at. Nowhere near as colorful as a stitching shelf. This one I think only has 70 colors. Just gonna have a look here. 97 colors. And a stitching shelf has 238 colors, and they're definitely a different range of colors. So that's it for the whips, the works in progress. I have a finish. I don't even know if I showed you this I'm sure I did show this in my last video. This is Big Hearted Tiny Town, and I'm seeing a lot of these, a lot of this one in particular being stitched right now, because of course it's February, and I started mine January 14th, and my last video was on January 15th, if my records are right, so you may have seen a very tiny start. But here it is, completely finished. This is stitched on a piece of 28 count hand dyed by Rolanda. It was a piece of fabric in a grab bag, and it's big enough that I can do another one on the other side, and I happen to have the Halloween Town one. So I'm gonna stitch Halloween on here. I'm just not sure if I'm gonna cut it first because I know it fits now. We'll see. It was a really nice one to take to work and just stitch on there. Maybe if I cut it, it will be a bit easier to manage at the staff table. I did attach all the little buttons. If you can see them, they're on there. I had won this in a giveaway from Kim and Sarah at Stitch and Stuff. I'm going to pass the stash. So if you want this, I need a good word. Heart. If you would like this pattern, in the comments below, use the word heart. You must be 18 or older. Don't say the words giveaway or freebie or any of those that are gonna cause trolls to show up. And I will mail it internationally. It's just a small piece of paper, so I'm not too worried about the shipping for that one. And I'm pretty sure I'm missing a rule, but you know, you will have to provide me with your address and a way to contact you for when you win. So you must be okay with that. Now I had a start, and I'm very eagerly blaming Carolyn Zook for this, but it might be a little bit my fault. Robin from Bird's Eye Stitching and Carolyn were doing a haul video after one of the retreats, and they showed this, and I fell in love with it, and I wanted to start it, so I convinced them, perhaps, that it would be a good idea to stitch along. And so we set a date, and we started Camberley Sampler by Rosewood Manor. I love the reds. I'm all in for the red. This little house scene in the bottom here, I'm not that crazy about, but you know, whatever, I'll make it work. I can look past that to see the rest. I'm stitching mine on 36 count Edinburgh linen. I had a big piece of it that I had bought and dyed some of it for my sexy sampler, and I decided I didn't want this one to be really big, so I decided to go with a higher count. I think if I had the time and the foresight, I would have ordered a 40 count to try, but I didn't. And so we're doing 36 count white Edinburgh linen, 1 strand over 2, and that's the wrong way. I started in the middle. I know it says to start in upper right. I am almost always a center starter, from the center was right about here. So I worked this band and then this band and then started some of this and then worked this band, and now I'm working on that band. I did have to frog a little bit because in the center of these little orange flowers I had put the wrong shade of pink, and so I corrected that, and that's where it is now. I was unsure about using one strand, and when I started it I was almost convinced that I was wrong and I should go to 2 strands. I am using 2 strands for the other sampler on this 36 count is but I dyed it pink, and I'm using black, and I'm using 2 strands of black because I want it to be a dense coverage. This one I kind of like, now that I have more of it done, I kind of like the delicate look of it. So that's where that's at. Still quite a bit to go. No plans to put it away, no plans to keep stitching on it. I'm gonna swee-wee it. We'll see. Plans to start anything? I do have a couple of charts in my possession that I think I would like to start. One of them, I don't know, I don't think I'm going to start this right away. This is the Halloween town. On the one hand, I want to get that piece of fabric used up. On the other hand, I can just cut that piece off and have it kitted. So I think I'm not gonna stitch that one yet. Instead, I have a couple other options pulled out, and I was very tempted to start a Madame Lafille pattern because Carolyn is Carolyn. And I do have 2 patterns in my possession, but I wanted to start something smaller that I can take to work. And I have these 3 Just Nan projects that are all spring related, and we're, you know, I want to feel like spring already. It is bitterly cold again. Now I'll get into that. So I have Flowering Crown. This one I don't think I'm going to start. It calls for a lot of gentle arts, which I just noticed this one today in my stash. This one I've had kitted up with a piece of fabric for a while. This is Violet's Humbug, 3 Violets Humbug. And this is Hoppington Hill Cube. They're all cute, and they would be easy enough to stitch on my lunch break. I have fabric, but I don't know. This is another one of those Rolanda offcuts. Might be too busy for this. And then I have some blue, picture this plus, which might be too bright for this. So I have options. I'm not in a rush to start right now. I mean, I do want to start one, and I think that it's going to be the three violets humbug, because I do have a perfect piece of fabric already in there. It calls for a light blue, but I have a piece of mint cashel. I think it'll be fine. It's, you know, Eastery, so sorry for the glare. So I think I'm going to put that in my lunchtime project bag. I do have to pull the DMC for that, but I think I need to zigzag the edges for that. So, but I do have another project that I also want to start, and it's also kind of Easter related. This is the piece tag, scissors tag by the Drawn Thread. I had bought this as a congratulatory present from Brenda, and I have been adding to it some fabric and some floss, and I know I said I wasn't going to use silks, but there's some silks in there. It's all silks in there right now. So I don't know that I want to stitch on silks at work. So I just need to take it to work and get a working copy made, because that's what I do. I working copy everything. So one, possibly two new starts are going to be happening very soon. I might even get a fully finished item with actually with Tiny Town. That one I'm waiting to get into my craft room to get some supplies. That's coming along. But I did get some supplies to finish the scissor roll from the last Just Nan project that I finished. So when I get some space, I will be working on that. So yeah, so that's all the stitching. Haul, I don't even have any cross stitch haul. I do have a little bit of quilting slash fabric, quilting fabric haul. I thought this was a very interesting pattern. I went into the quilt shop when we went to Dryden. Yeah, we had to go visit the vet, get into that. But this was one of the fabrics that they had on display. And this is Heavy Metal Stonehenge by Northcott. And here's the complementary fabric. It does have a metallic sheen to it. And there's also a panel. So a larger graphic. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I do see this being a good project bag. So, and then of course at the register they had these what do you call them, charm packs, and it's grays, and I was flipping through them, and there was a couple of fabrics in here that I like. That's one of them. And that one. Yeah, there's a few. So I grabbed it. Because I have a quilt kind of on the go that I've been ignoring for too long. I really need to pull it out again and work on it some more. So, okay, so that's all the stitching related stuff. Gonna get a little bit into life. Where do I even start? So it got cold, you know, being in Canada, that's what happens up in northwestern Ontario. It got so cold that my son's water lines froze again, and he was still living there, but he had brought over pails of water so that he could use the facilities. And then his outgoing water froze. So he has, had to replace the toilet. We had one there anyways. He had one there anyways. So, yeah, it was all blocked up and it froze in the right below the toilet. So, long story short, they're replacing the sewer line for about 10 feet and more heat tape on the incoming water lines because somewhere it froze. And so, yeah. So he's been living here since the 2nd of February, roughly, in my husband's office on a blow-up bed. On the 4th of February, there was a fire in the apartment complex where my mother-in-law lived. And she was woken up rudely at about 8 or 9 in the morning by a couple of policemen who had to carry her out in her walker to the seniors complex across the street because the building was on fire. It wasn't anywhere near her apartment, so she didn't know it was on fire. And she tends to sleep late, so that's why. Yeah. And then we had to go to emergency room on the 5th because my husband's colitis flared up. So we had to wait there for a couple of hours to find out, to do all the tests. And of course, it's one of those things when you go to the hospital, you start to feel better, now you want to leave. But we stuck it out to see the doctor, get the test done, make sure it's not an infection of any kind. So that was that. So then my mother-in-law was living in the living room here for 12 days. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I couldn't do a lot of stitching. I couldn't get to a few things, and it was only inconvenient because she's 91 years old and using a walker, so asking her to move out of the corner was just let her sit there. So so that's why I couldn't access some of my things. What else? Oh, she was allowed back in the building on the 12th. I think, no, not the 12th. Wednesday or Thursday last week. 16th, because it was after Valentine's Day. Yeah, the 16th. She was finally able to go back. We were griping that she should have been allowed back earlier because it wasn't even her part of the building. It was like, I think her building is the original building, and then they added on 2 wings after that, and it was in the last wing that it caught fire. 11 apartments are destroyed, but everybody is okay. Just so you know, everybody is okay. The building management did put everybody up. We thought that it would be more convenient for her to come here for the couple of days that it was supposed to take, but it took longer than that, and it really was not convenient. And then, so she went home, and then the next day, my little dog, Khaleesi, started to have blood in her urine, and uncontrollable as well. So emergency phone to the vet, and another trip into Dryden. Well, that's why we went to Dryden, was to take the dog to see the vet. And we also mentioned that her eyesight seemed to be like she's walking into walls. So he checked her eyesight, and physically there doesn't seem to be anything wrong. So we went over the thoughts of it could perhaps be a thyroid problem pushing on her optic nerve. So we ran a bunch of blood work and urinalysis because that's the original reason why we went in there. And last year she had a liver problem, so we said to check the liver problem. I said, if you're drawing blood, just do all of the tests, right? And so $700 later, all the tests came back. She does have a bladder infection. Thyroid is fine, liver is fine, everything else is fine. Some of her, white blood cells are a little low, but she has an infection, so yeah. So he said that it could be that the bladder infection, because she's not feeling well, it could be affecting her sight. So hopefully the antibiotics that she's on will help clear that up, and then her vision will be restored. It's a little bit concerning. I've had a blind dog. It's not fun. And she's fallen down the stairs already. So we blocked off the stairs. There's a baby gate on the top stairs. She only fell down the landing 2 steps because I was in the basement doing dishes. That's another thing. Yeah, so she was trying to get as close as she could to me, and she's not supposed to go down the stairs because of her arthritis issue. So yeah, here I am going on, and I haven't even gotten to the kitchen. The kitchen installers were here on the 6th to install the upper cabinets. Well, to install all the cabinets. Okay, so yeah, the kitchen installers came in on the 6th, and they raised the lower cabinets and did what they had to do with that, and attached all of the lowers, and then they brought in the uppers and pulled it out of the box, and my husband looked and said, that's not white. And they were like, yes it is. And my husband's, no, that's not white. That's white. That's not white. No, it's not white. So they, for whatever reason, they thought that I wanted like a whitewashed look for the upper cabinets. Don't know where that came from, but they're not white, they're gray. And they kept telling the guy back at the office, Michael, these cabinets aren't white. We've been without a kitchen for too long. We went ahead and let them install them. Yeah, so I'm not 100% happy with them. The longer they're on the wall, the less I'm annoyed by them. Yeah, whatever. I just wanted cabinets. I still don't have a sink though, because we are going with a rock countertop, so that takes a while for it to be cut. So it's going to be a couple more weeks. So we're still using the laundry sink in the basement. So that's where that's at. Yeah. So that's pretty much all of the exciting news that happened here. I hope that's the end of it. I don't have any other plans except for finishing the kitchen and finishing the craft room. That's coming along, I think. We'll see how much longer it will be. Hopefully, maybe my next video will be up there, but that all depends on when my next video is. So until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Happy stitching. Bye. Hi, baby. Hey. From the dining room into the kitchen. It's a very small kitchen. That's going to be like a breakfast nook area right there. Sink will be going over there. These are the cabinets that are not white. Dishwasher to be hooked up. Lots of cabinets for the space. Floor needs to be finished still, but you know, bit by bit. And that's where you see me usually. And that's the living room. Yeah.